There's something invisible getting in the way between you and the connection and the happiness you want. Most people don't even notice it, but it's a trap we all fall into, a kind of illusion that feels so real, it's easy to mistake it for truth. I've helped many people find their own path through these kinds of troubles, not by giving them answers, but by showing them how to find the answers that are the best answers for them. Most people don't notice the moment it starts, the moment they begin dragging around thoughts like they're dragging luggage through their lives. I want to show you what that looks like through the eyes of someone who finally saw it for herself. And if you stick around until the end of the story, I'll show you how overcoming those lies can help build a stronger relationship and find the kind of connection that makes difficult moments easier. The backpack was heavy. She sat on the curb outside her car, the straps digging into her shoulders. The engine was off, and the streetlights flickered on, casting long shadows across the street. Her house stood still. The backpack felt heavier than usual, heavier than the groceries in the trunk. "What's the point?" a voice mumbled from inside the pack. "Why bother going in?" She'd put it on one day. It was a worn canvas thing, but always so full. She wore it everywhere, to the office, to the store, while she was making dinner. The pack hummed with questions. "Why do you always have to do everything?" it seemed to ask. Sometimes a sharp tug on the straps brought the thought, "He doesn't even hear you," or "You're not okay." She thought the backpack was necessary, but it only made her tired and stiff. Sitting on the curb, she couldn't move. What was the point of unpacking it all? Why even try? Then something shifted. She stopped trying to solve it all. She just sat, still and quiet. And a small space opened up. She looked at the backpack on her back. It was just fabric and straps. There were a whole bunch of things she'd put in it. She took a breath and reached behind her. The straps slid off. The backpack thudded softly on the pavement. Wasn't anything big, just that. The house was the same, but she stood up feeling lighter. She walked to the door, opened it, and went inside. Something felt different. Sometimes she still felt the tug of the straps. The backpack was by the front door, and sometimes it whispered, sometimes it screamed, but she knew what it was. She looked at it, smiled a little, and carried on. I remember the moment I really got this for myself and in my own life. I was in the middle of an important conversation, trying hard to convince someone of something they should do. I had gathered all the information, I had logic, I had reasoning. I thought I was helping. What needed to be done, it made perfect sense to me. But it wasn't landing. Not at all. I stepped away from that conversation frustrated and upset and angry. And then all of a sudden, right out of the blue, I realized I can't control what anyone else says or does. Nothing I say will make them think differently if they're not ready. I don't know. It came out of nowhere. I remember I was walking away from the conversation. I went outside and I was walking towards my car, and there wasn't anyone around, and it just hit me. And I thought, honestly, that's not my job. It's not my job to be in anyone else's business. And in that moment, I felt like I had an epiphany. I felt freer. I just dropped my own invisible backpack. I saw how much energy I'd been spending managing other people's choices, getting in their business, considering their feelings, trying to change their reactions and shift what they do, trying to make things go a certain way, getting involved in other people's affairs and worrying about how things would turn out. But none of that was mine to carry. And in that moment, something softer showed up. It was like a relief. I kind of knew right then and there that it doesn't matter. I'll still show up with, information and logic and reasoning and what I think are good ideas, but I don't expect anyone to go along with what I say or do anything at all. It's okay. We all carry something, and we all have the power to set it down, not by fixing or doing anything, but by seeing it differently. When we stop wrestling with the noise in our heads, when we stop paying attention and acting on all of the thoughts that we have, we hear something quieter, something wiser. That's the space I coach from. That's what this work is about. If you're carrying something that feels too heavy, if you're tired of managing everyone and everything, there is another way. Let's have a conversation, not to fix anything, but I'll share with you how your mental health and your well-being are not something you have to search for. They are inside of you all of the time. I'll be here when you're ready. And if this backpack story resonated with you, you may want to watch the next video. Disconnection in your relationship, it doesn't mean that love is gone. It's simply a wake-up call. And in order to maximize the advantage of putting that weight down, understand why you are carrying it all. You might want to check it out.